Hello folks, Danger Rick here to talk about the New Horizons mixtape that I've been working on. Took me over a year to put this together. I worked with a lot of different people. I pretty much did a majority of it myself, but as far as getting the instrumentals together, I reached out to a buddy and having the mix and master and all that stuff. But yeah, so we'll just jump right into it. So according to the notes date stamp on my phone, it looks like I started this idea back in January of 2023. So just for a timeline, so right now it's towards the end of June 2024. So it pretty much took me a year and a half to put this all together. The whole project was 6 songs. The whole inspiration behind it was to take 6 nu metal songs, sample them into rap songs, rap over the songs, and then make music videos out of those. Part of that as well was to use PlayStation 1 footage as background, like just visuals or whatever for the actual music videos. So for like the first music video, I would shoot me playing the video game, and then I would have the music video put together, and then I would use the visuals from the PS1 game for the background or whatever visuals that I wanted for the music video. So that was kind of the idea behind it there. So obviously the name of the project is New Horizons. It's a nu metal. I don't know if you can call it a nu metal mixtape or album or whatever it is. It's pretty much a rap album. But I went through, I made the decisions to pick the 6 nu metal songs. The 6 songs that made the most sense for me. So it's not necessarily, I picked a Korn song, I picked a Taproot song, I picked a Nonpoint song. It's not like I just chose a band and then went and picked their most popular song to get that sampled. I wanted something from each of these songs that meant something to me, something that when I hear a riff, and I've heard the riff for the last 20 years, something that really kind of resonated in me to kind of just want to use that and loop it and put it into a song and kind of make it my own. So that's kind of the inspiration behind, kind of putting some of the songs together. So nu metal is my favorite genre. The System of a Down, the Korn, the Limp Bizkit, all that kind of stuff. But growing up, I was big into grunge. I was a 90s kid, so I grew up listening to Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. One of my big first albums was White Zombie by Rob Zombie or whatever, but it was the White Zombie album. I had the Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water by Limp Bizkit. I had Dirt by Alice in Chains, so that was kind of like how I got introduced to music just in general. Back in the day where Wi-Fi wasn't a thing and you had to listen to CDs, and I had a stereo system in my room as a kid, so my dad just set me up with that when I was very young, which is really cool. Even Rooster by Alice in Chains was the first song that I ever memorized all the lyrics to, and kind of did it that way. So pretty cool. But yeah, so it pretty much started off with grunge, and then it evolved into nu metal, and then just the energy that goes into nu metal music is really just kind of what drew me to it and made me want to kind of be a part of, kind of I don't know if you want to say be a part of the culture or whatever, but really just kind of be part of, the culture, without better words to use. So if you look at any of the music videos that I put together, you'll see that I put a little kind of giving credit to my buddy Matt, Novo Heights over on, all streaming services and all that stuff. I reached out to him to help me kind of put together the whole project. And like I said earlier, so I had 6 nu metal songs. I gave him each of those 6 songs. Sometimes I would say, from 15 seconds to 20 seconds, I really like that riff, or, kind of just free ball it and just kind of make it up as you're going along. But yeah, he just, for the most part, he would send me songs and I was on board right away. There was a couple times where he'd send me something, I'm like, yeah, it's not really how I wanted to hit. But for the most part, he was the maestro behind the keyboard. He was the one that put the songs together. I've always been more of a video guy. He's more of an audio guy. So just the fact that he could take on that half of the project and just kind of master the audio, doing it that way, it really would just come down to I would send him a song. Well, at the start, I gave him all 6 of the nu metal songs, and then he would take a couple weeks to work on each one, and then from there send me the instrumental. I would write the song. I would record it myself. I would send him the raw vocal audio file, and then he would mix and master the song, send it back. Sometimes he would really tear it apart. Which is good, because sometimes, if I'm writing, 80 bars to a song or whatever it might be, maybe only 60 of them are good. There are certain songs where the choruses loop or things repeat after, one another. And that was just him, kind of taking the reins and really looking at it and, getting rid of the fat and just sticking to the core good audio, which I appreciate. So that's just kind of goes to show that he's a good producer on his end. But yeah, so Novo Heights, thank you. I'll give you a couple more shout outs throughout this video, but literally could not have done this without you. So I appreciate it, man. And then on top of that, so part of the goal that I had for this year was to release at least one video a week for the whole year. I'm still on pace to do that. So something that kind of helped me do that as well was for each song that I put lyrics to and made a music video to, I also made an instrumental video, which is really just a music video, just kind of stripped away from, showing visuals of me. Typically, it would just be the background visuals or whatever it might be. But if you think about it, that's 6 additional videos, 6 additional weeks that I didn't have to worry about putting something out. So that was one of the first times I did something like that. I also did that for my Crash Tape mixtape project, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. But it was really just, trying to fluff up my catalog and kind of do it that way. So like I was saying, kind of the idea of this started back in January of last year. The first music video that came out was my Mudvayne song, Mud in My Veins. That came out in April of last year. So it took me maybe 3 months to get that first video kind of out and kind of figure out how I wanted to do it. Some of that kind of stemmed from me, doing the video of me playing Twisted Metal 4 for the PlayStation 1, getting those visuals, and then I really just kind of put it into the timeline, did different types of angles, different types of effects. I'll kind of throw that up over here as I'm talking along. For that, I also put down the subtitles. This is something that I didn't do for all the music videos, but it was just something that I wanted to do and kind of show that, there is a considerable amount of thought that goes into the lyrics for my songs that I put out there. Yeah, so that song was Fall Into Sleep by Mudvayne. That was the one that really just kind of catapulted the whole project as a whole. It really kind of gave me a structure for how I was going to put it together. Again, using the PlayStation footage, using these songs, use the projector that I have, do different overlays, invert some of the visuals, put a lot of stuff. That first music video was I don't want to use the word sloppy, but it was very busy. So there was a lot of visuals, a lot of stuff on there, and it was honestly kind of hard to watch. But that was kind of the goal, because a lot of the nu metal videos that I grew up watching were kind of these indie-looking kind of music videos, and it was just something that I thought was really cool. So I thought, as long as I put some amount of effort into it, as long as I press record and get something down and get it to a point that I can kind of manipulate it within my editing program, from there I'd be able to kind of figure it out. Yeah, so I'd use, I shot it right here over in the corner of my basement, but I use strobe lights. I use my projector over on the other side of my basement on a concrete wall. Obviously, again, like I keep saying, I use the Twisted Metal visuals there. But yeah, it was really just, make it busy, make it interesting to watch, and just kind of layer it up. So the order of the songs that came out was not necessarily representative of the order of the songs for the mixtape. So like the first song that I made was the first song on the mixtape, and then the last song I made actually ended up being song number 2 on the mixtape. So the next one that I had for the mixtape kind of order was my Static X music video that I worked on. So that one, I know, like I was saying, it wasn't necessarily choosing the most popular song, but I used the song Push It by Static X, which is probably one of their top songs. I just finished that June of this year. So if you look at it, so the first one came out April of 23. This one came out June of 24. So over a year had passed. Not necessarily that I was just sitting on the project and didn't want to work on it, but I had a lot of other projects. I got married last year. I had different trips kind of planned. I had other stuff kind of pulling me in other directions. I worked at a job that I really hated. I walked away from that job just even a couple weeks ago, and since then I've been able to crank out this video. So that's kind of the background to a lot of this crap that I'm kind of talking about. So the lyrics for the music video, a lot of them were kind of based off some of just kind of the facts and the information about Static X, about Wayne Static, some of the songs, some of the music videos. Even for the music video, there's if you look at it, there's the spiral going on in the music video, and then behind it there's me in a bee suit that I got, kind of gifted, a decade ago when I was working for DES. But it was something that in the music videos and in real life when I go see Static X on stage, they have, you know, different mascots kind of coming out, and, you know, a Frankenstein and a giant circle with the logo on their face. So it was really kind of my attempt to put something like that together. So again, I used the bee suit. You can't really see it in the music video, but I was actually wearing a hockey mask as well. And from there, you know, I kind of just danced around and did the robot and kind of did the wave with my arms and all this and that. And that was just kind of layered behind the spiral because when I was shooting the video, it was green screened. And unfortunately, the light fed through the back of the green screen, and there was kind of like a blowout from the window. So I tried my best to cover that up. So that's why it's kind of layered the way it is, and it's kind of hidden behind the spiral of the music video. So that's kind of the little gem there. So the background visuals for that one, it starts off with kind of just like a flaming wasteland. I was going to use that all the way through. It was kind of boring. It's a very simple video, really. You know, for me, as far as the mic, there's one of me straight on, there's one of me from the side, and then there's the straight on of me doing the robot with the bee suit on. And then I realized that I had to use game footage for it as well, so I used the video game Loaded for PS1, a very unknown video game, just kind of a shoot 'em up kind of a video game there. But I used some of those visuals. Again, they're so busy with the spirals and me dancing and all that, it's kind of hard to see what the visuals are behind that. But, you know, from there I was able to you know, kind of layer it and kind of fill it in better and not have the same background the whole time, which I think would have been kind of boring. But again, this is pretty much, I shot it on one day, edited the next day. It was pretty much a 24-hour turnaround, so pretty easy project, but probably the cleanest out of all of them. Yeah, and it was just, like I said, it was the last video I did. By that point, I kind of knew what I wanted to accomplish as I was putting this stuff together. And from there, it was just, you know, kind of sit and have the laptop on my lap and put the headphones in and kind of figure it out from there. So the words that were in the music video, sometimes you can't really tell what it says, but that was taken from one of the music videos by Static X. I believe it was the Terminator Oscillator video, where they would just put, you know, words behind Wayne, or not, it wasn't Wayne, it was words behind Zero, behind the lead singer of Static X, just kind of like just throwing out these words, you know, it's gonna help build up the aura of the music video. So it was funny, I kind of used Godsmack's song, so I did Love, Hate, Sex, Pain, and then I also did Insane, and then I did God. So those were the 6 words that I put in the background, which you can't really necessarily see, but again, it was just like an added layer of, you know, kind of reference to the Static X music videos and just kind of capturing it that way. So I have not gotten a haircut in over 6 months now, and I thought that my hair would be long enough to compete with Wayne Static's hair. For anybody that does know, I'll throw up the picture that I put up on Instagram. But basically, his hair is gelled straight up, much longer than mine, which I came to discover as I gelled my hair up. And I'm hanging upside down off my bed with the fan blowing on my head, trying to dry my gelled hair out. Yeah, that was yeah, just part of the visuals. It was just something that I wanted to do. I thought it would just be weird if I just showed up with a hat or just kind of had my hair down or whatever. So again, that's just a direct correlation to, you know, Zero, you know, has the wire sticking straight up out of his mask and is his kind of setup. But, you know, just kind of a direct homage to, you know, Wayne Static, you know, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I could shoot a Static X tribute video without, you know, doing that and having that straight tribute to Wayne. I mean, on top of that, I also wore the Static X t-shirt that I got a couple years ago. I think I actually got that at one of their shows in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. I know I wore it for Incarceration a couple years ago, one of those music festivals in Ohio. But yeah, I mean, it's just, if I have a Static X shirt, why wouldn't I wear it? You know, that's kind of my idea. And then, you know, like I said, I put everything together at the, you know, pretty much the day after I shot it. And, you know, between having my hair up and using the shirt and using some of the visuals and the spiral and the dancing, you know, everything kind of fed right into each other. So I really just kind of felt that this was a good tribute to Static X and Wayne Static, and really was kind of a good way to kind of cap off the whole project. Like I said, this is track number 2 out of the 6 tracks. But again, this is the last one I put together. So this is something that I really just kind of wanted to wrap up the right way. The next video in order was the Limp Bizkit video, my Rick Bizkit project. That was using the song Take a Look Around. which probably has the most significant impact on me as a kid. Again, that was on that Chocolate Starfish album. The music video was just so cool. It was kind of a, kind of like secret agents were coming to kill him at a diner, and they have to dress up like, they work there and this and that. And it was just something that was really cool. I ended up putting that together in January of this year. So obviously middle of winter, very cold, very wet. So I didn't want to necessarily shoot the whole project in my basement, do all 6 songs in my basement. A majority of them I did do, kind of down here in a controlled environment. But that was just, me sitting in my car using the green screen. I had the Lazy Susan motorized one that I had, so I was able to put my GoPro on the Lazy Susan and kind of have it spin and rotate on its own axis, and really just kind of chase it that way. A lot of these projects were really just kind of stemmed from me having this equipment and kind of like figuring it out how the best way to use it. So like the Lazy Susan with the GoPro, I mean, that was something that I had planned since I bought the Lazy Susan, 2 years prior. So, it kind of took me up until that point to be like, all right, so how am I going to put this together? How do I want it to look? And it's just really cool. It's just, I film myself, I record myself doing the vocals. I do all the editing myself. So, again, like I said, it's just Matt put together the audio for me, and then I just press record and I turn on the speaker and I just lip sync, and I just kind of do it that way. So I did end up putting the green screen in my garage. I was wearing a green sweatshirt as well, so as you watch the music video, you'll see as I'm kind of being tracked by the Lazy Susan, I was able to key out my sweatshirt, key out the green screen, use some of the footage from Wrecking Crew, which is the video game that I used for that project, and then from there, really just kind of use the key, use the video game footage. I was able to kind of key out me in the car as well. There's a shot of me just kind of like pointed out through my garage door with the microphone, and I just kind of tripled up that visual effect. But really, for the most part, it was just a lot of layering and a lot of just kind of overlays and screening effects and just kind of doing it that way. So it was kind of cool. So the Limp Bizkit song was a little bit different. So I actually wrote the lyrics when I was flying back from South Dakota on a family trip last year. So like I said, it was filmed in January, or the video came out in January. But it was really just me on a plane for like 6 hours. I didn't take the whole 6 hours to write the song, but I was just trying to come up with lyrics and trying to map it out. So all of these songs, all the new metal songs, they're all tributes to the songs, to the bands, to the vibe, to the culture, all that stuff. But this Limp Bizkit song really kind of got into like all the albums I listened to, and Fred Durst's, reputation, and I bring up Woodstock 99, and the fact that he talks about baseball bats and chainsaws and shotguns and all this stuff. I really tried to just pull from everything that's kind of part of the Limp Bizkit lore and put it into the lyrics. So not my favorite song because it's very specific, and unless you're like a big Limp Bizkit fan, you wouldn't necessarily pick up on all the references. But for me, I think that one probably mapped out the best because it did capture, everything that it meant to be a Limp Bizkit fan, as I was writing that song and as I made the video. And then on top of that, just some of the extra overlay stuff. I mean, I did a lot of the analog TV. Like, you'll see the record button in the bottom or whatever, and you'll see different bars filling up and the static across the TV and all that. And again, that just kind of feeds into the whole 90s vibe of, the static TVs and the kind of sloppy, dirty, grimy kind of feel. But again, it just kind of helped add to the whole aura of the video as a whole. The next video was Taproot. It was the song Calling, which again is not their most popular song, but something that I thought was really cool was just the calling, and just like the way that the audio kind of builds up to that. We didn't loop the audio or anything for like that for the sample, but just the guitar riffs that Matt was able to pull from that song and kind of put together was really cool. That one came out December of 23, so a month before the Limp Bizkit video. This one was the heaviest game footage video that I put together. It used the video game. It used the video game Tiny Tank for PS1. So again, same formula as always. I would shoot the video of me playing the video game and kind of my commentary and all that, upload the video, and then I would use the visuals from the video game playing as background for the song. So again, that kind of incorporated for each of the songs, but this one was the heaviest. So it was kind of like telling a story through the Tiny Tank footage. it was really cool. I mean, it was really just, from the start menu to picking the game to, the first 2 levels, really just kind of putting it together that way. And it was just kind of neat to put it together. Out of all the songs, this was probably my favorite chorus that Matt was able to put together. It was thoughts and prayers can't find a happy medium. Talk to God, go blind without seeing him. Heavy metals contaminate my blood. So far down, man, I'm never up. It's just like he looped that, and I didn't know that was going to be one of the strongest parts of the whole song. And he looped it. I think I hear that in that song 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 times, and it's just such a powerful chorus, and that just kind of goes to show that Matt really knows what he's doing. And I'm really proud of that song, and maybe not the best video, maybe not the best song, but probably the best chorus out of the whole project that I put it together. And then, as always, I used some of the green screen for some of the shots, and then I had kind of a green and black kind of tie-dye shirt that I used for a blue screen, the blue screen that's behind me. So that was one of the first times that I used the blue screen, and I'm still kind of getting figured out. I mean, I'm probably not going to key this out too much in this video, but again, it just kind of made it so I just had a reason to practice and to test things out and see if I can kind of get it worked out. But again, maybe not the best song, probably the catchiest song, but again, it was pretty, I like the song. I like the song a lot. I like the video a lot. It's pretty cool. The next song that came out was the Nonpoint song. It was What a Day, which is one of the songs they always play live, and I know that because I've seen them plenty of times, know that they played that live. That one came out in March of 2024. The video... Okay, I guess I was saying that the Taproot video is the heaviest video game one, but that one kind of told the story the best. For the Nonpoint video, I used the video game Rampage, which is an old arcade game from back in the day. Really just kind of running around, destroying buildings, knocking down helicopters, eating people, all that kind of good stuff. But for the video, what I used was I kind of ran out of ideas, to be honest, and I knew I had to just keep chugging along and keep making these projects and just kind of get them out there. And so what I used was I used a picture of myself at one of my buddy's weddings 2 years ago. I don't know exactly when it was. But I used that. I photoshopped out my head. I made it so my mouth kind of went open and closed. And from there, it was really just kind of my head kind of floating around the screen, kind of bouncing around like a loading logo. And, kind of getting bigger, getting smaller, kind of changing the angle, changing position. And, yeah, it was a very simple video. But again, considering that everything has to be keyframed, between the scale and between the positioning and the angle, and then trying to have it somehow kind of match up with the video. A little bit, it looks simple, but in kind of the background, it's a little bit more complex than it actually looks. But again, just kind of another example of me, kind of doing what I was doing and just trying to figure out a way to make it work and make it, a way to be entertaining throughout the whole thing. But yeah, it was pretty much just my head bouncing around as I was going around the city, destroying buildings and knocking down helicopters and planes and army people and all that stuff. It was kind of cool. But yeah, it was again, it was very basic. It was pretty much just the game footage, and then on top of it is my head bouncing around, which, again, take that as you want, but it was kind of cool for what it was. Out of all of the games, that was probably the most iconic. The Rampage video game, that's the one that probably has the most recognition, and that's probably also part of the reason why I try to use that as the meat and the potatoes of that project. Not trying to get clickbait or nothing, but again, if somebody sees that game, they'll be like, oh, I know what that game is, and maybe they're like, oh, this is a song I've never heard before, or oh, I recognize the song, I know this is Nonpoint, or somebody that just kind of wants to check out my music and just kind of do it that way. The final video on the mixtape was Korn. Falling Away From Me was the sample. That came out in July of 2023. So again, that was the second video that I made. That one had subtitles to it, so I kind of started out, doing the subtitles. It's a lot of work to get the subtitles kind of perfect. So I kind of stayed away from doing that. For some of the YouTube shorts, I would do some of the subtitles because those would only be 30-second clips. But again, this one was, use the video game Apocalypse, which again is not a very well-known game. It's a game that Bruce Willis was actually in for the PS1 back in the day. I don't know if they ever planned to turn it into a movie or not, but it was kind of like a movie game that was only a game and not a movie. On top of that, I also used Subnautica. I don't even know what that's for, but I was at work and I'm just kind of scrolling through YouTube, and I saw that there was this game that kind of scared the crap out of me. It's pretty much deep sea in a vessel, searching for whatever you're looking for. I've never even played the game, but it's just like you're going around, and all of a sudden you turn around and there's like a giant leviathan or like a giant squid or like a giant shark or like a giant creature. It just freaks me out, and I was just trying to capture it that way, and I thought it was kind of cool to put it in there. Probably the busiest project for the whole thing. Some of the effects are just over the top, and everything is like inverted and crazy colors and crazy effects and this and that. Korn is probably the most well-known band that I used for the project. But again, I don't want to use the word sloppy, but it was the most busy project for the whole New Horizons project. Hence why I kind of put it at the end. Song-wise, I think it's pretty strong. But again, the video I wasn't necessarily as proud of. But again, it was just kind of me figuring it out and seeing how I was going to put it together and kind of do it that way. So, as I said, I started January of 23. I didn't get the project done till June of 24. The project will come out in the next couple of weeks, like the full, all 6 songs in order, which already matches the playlist. So it's really no new material. I could have done the project a little bit sooner. I didn't want to push Matt to, crank out the songs and just get them done. I wanted them to get done the right way and kind of put effort into them and make them kind of earn their own keep. But again, it was just, as I was doing the Crash tape at the same time, I was having my buddy Josh, sample Crash Bandicoot songs, and I was writing lyrics for those and then sending them off and then making the music videos. And it's just like having those two projects kind of parallel each other, kind of kept my brain fresh. Because if I'm rapping to a Crash Bandicoot song, it's not going to be the same stuff that I'm rapping to on a Korn song or whatever it might be. So it was just kind of a way to kind of keep fresh and kind of keep it, kind of keep my mind on the right track. All right, well, that pretty much wraps everything up. I hit each of the songs. I kind of gave you guys some background on each of the projects. Shout out again, Novo Heights. Like I said, I could not have done this project without you. I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. So if you haven't seen the project now, the full mixtape will be out by the time this video comes out. All 6 songs in order. There's also a playlist for each of the individual songs. There's the instrumental songs. Everything will be out. So again, links will be in the description. And yeah, check it out. It's a kind of a cool little fun thing that I did. I don't exactly know what my next project will look like. But what I was able to learn from this and kind of put it together this way and kind of learn how to work with other people and kind of get things working on that way. It's only onward and upward from there. So yeah, check it out. Have fun. Thanks for watching, and long live nu metal.